know that carrying your groceries out to your car seems a bit old school. That saying hello and asking about your day feels like a thing of the past. Being best at fresh, it's not just a fad. Serving high-quality meat at affordable prices? Talk about a throwback. But at Fairway, that's kind of our thing. Because some things never go out of style. Friendly at Fairway. It's more than just a name.
Hello and welcome to the Cyclone Fanatic Summer Series brought to you by Fairway Meat and Grocery and Natuzel Financial Services. It has been hotter than the surface of the sun here in Iowa lately, but if you've looked at the forecast, upper 70s coming up. That is the perfect time to hit the Fairway meat counter. Get yourself some brats, some burgers, some steak, and go grill and enjoy this temperate weather outside these next few days. And also, hit up our friends at Natuzel Financial Services of Raymond, James, Clay, Chase, and Cody. They're all family, and they're all there to take care of you. They do such good work over at Natuzel. You can go support them and help support us. Our summer series interview today is Conrad Hawley, the CEO, Chief Energy Officer, became a fan favorite at Iowa State over his 3 years in Ames. Another really good interview. We've also had our interviews with Derek Hoodger, John Walters, and Curtis Jones. Check those out wherever you listen to your podcasts. But for now, here is Conrad Hawley. Welcome back to our summer series. I am joined by the CEO himself, Conrad Hawley. Conrad, thanks for joining us. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's the summer, so we're talking about all things Cyclones, whether it's past players, what's coming up in the future. How long ago does it feel that you were in Ames?
Years, but but it also feels like yesterday. It's kind of cool.
Well, so we've been up there doing some availability for the summer workouts.
Very cool.
And it just always dawns on me how long ago the previous season feels.
Yeah.
And it's been like 3 months, but I think there's only 5 returners. So it just feels like a brand new team. Did you feel that when you were in the building, that it just flipped so quick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You were like, when the season was over, you were on to the next season already. And then when you get the new guys in June, it kind of hits you. And then it's like right now they're in the last stages of the summer, and the summer feels so long that, to your point, it's only 3 months ago that you were playing a season, but that feels like forever ago.
What did you do during the portal cycle? How close did you follow what TJ and the staff were doing?
I mean, they don't really tell you much. Like, throughout the building, guys will talk and you'll figure stuff out, and maybe you go out to lunch with the guys. But until they commit, you don't really know. But also our staff, they do such a good job that to where if they recruit you, they normally get you. So you just follow along. And like you said, you're going to interview Croft. I spent a lot of time with him and talk to him. So it was pretty cool.
Milan talked, I don't know when this is coming out, but we talked to Milan yesterday.
Yeah.
And he just said, like, yeah, I kind of follow, but he also just trusts that whoever TJ brings in is going to be the right fit.
Yeah.
What is it about Otzelberger and just finding maybe these diamonds in the rough in the portal?
I just think that he's so good at understanding what his culture needs, who fits where, what he can bring, the best qualities he can bring out of people. So he doesn't necessarily need to go get the best all-around player. He knows how to get a guy who's kind of overlooked, who's really good at one thing, and then he gives them a lot of confidence to do that really well. And it's the same thing like Bill Self talked about. He's like, we went and got all the best players and they sucked. We didn't have good role players. We couldn't build a team, but TJ, he does such a good job at understanding, like, I know how to put these 8 to 10 guys in positions to help us win. And I think he's the best in the country at doing that. So,
well, I know that's a part of your story, buying into a role and carving out a role in a program. As you reflect a few months down the road after your career, how do you look back on your time at Iowa State and carving out a pretty unique role?
Well, looking back on my time at Iowa State, it was awesome, super fun. Like the like a huge blessing, like very cool, like all the people I got to meet, all the experiences I got to have, all the blessings, like I've been traveling. And like you go fly at Iowa State and you show up, you have a free meal, you leave in 15 minutes, there's no security at the airport. Somebody puts the bags on the plane for you, and you have exit row seat, you got Dr. Pepper, it's awesome. And then you fly commercial and it sucks. But so, just stuff like that you miss, that's really cool. You miss being around friends. And as far as like carving out a role, it's really cool. It's going to help me going forward through life, just learning the lessons that I learned being on a team and how I want to affect that, like going forward. And anytime you get to be on a team and you're just there to be a teammate, that's pretty special. Cause I definitely wasn't there to play. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, so I know the last time we talked, you were doing some motivational speaking at Des Moines Christian Golf. That was probably April, May?
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about, or maybe tell the listeners that maybe didn't see that story on Local 5, what you've been up to since you left Ames.
Yeah, so since I've been, left Ames, just been speaking when I can, and when those things come up, it's kind of like an organic process. And then I work kids out, like basketball, stuff like that. So like fourth grade and up, and I train them, and I try and give them tips from workouts that I've seen coaches give, and especially like coach of mine, because in the era of like transfer portal and NIL stuff, like to be a good teammate and to have personal pride and like do your job matters even more now because it's so rare. So I've been trying to help kids out with that. And then as far as speaking goes, I got to speak to KU football about a month ago, and that was really cool. It was really big for me, and it just, I talk about my story and leadership and being a teammate, and I try to go in there and challenge a group and challenge a team and try and maybe give them an inside tip or one thing that they can hear that help them. And so, yeah, since I left Iowa State, those are just the two things I've been doing. It's been a good time.
How much of a full circle moment was that being at KU?
Dude, it was – so the strength coach is one of the best men I've ever met. He's a good man, and he's a I don't know if I cut, like he's a badass dude, okay?
Oh, go for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's awesome. And so the last time I spoke to him in person, I was in his office crying because I had quit football. And it was really hard. And it was like a identity shift and super low, super down, no self-confidence. And he just looked at me in my eyes when I had no confidence. And he said, I know you'll like get back on your feet. You have it in you. Like you're going to be okay. And at that point in time, like my world was ending. And now I get to go back to KU football and share stories of low mental toughness, low confidence, high selfish, high ego, and then how I learned through being at Iowa State, and Iowa State has whipped their ass the last 2 years, so I got to challenge them about that too. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So
it's been, 3 years since you left the KU football program? 4?
Yeah, KU's my first year, so probably 3 years ago. And then I spent 3 years the next 3 years at Iowa State. So, yeah.
We could probably talk for 3 hours about all that you learned in those 3 years, but what made you change maybe so much as a competitor, as a person?
Well, I feel like as a competitor, I've always been the same. Like I hate to lose. And then in high school, I got to affect that a lot more. And in football, I got to affect that because like the ball's in your hands, and I was a good player and I was recruited to be there. So that's just a different mindset you take competition-wise. But I think like from quitting and like giving up a scholarship, like that's a scholarship, like that gets you your degree. Like, and I have student loan debt now. I wouldn't have had student loan debt had I kept playing. Like those are like real life decisions, and so taking it for granted and understanding that your life's not a bad, like, yeah, you quit something that you didn't feel confident in, that you didn't enjoy. And I haven't missed it since I quit. So that's how I knew it wasn't for me. I haven't missed it one day. And so just throughout that time, I've really learned that, like, before I went to Iowa State, I just never wanted to not be on a team again. Like, I spent 6 months just working in Colorado, living by myself. And being on a team, I missed it so – like, I don't know how to do good without, like, my boys around. and without laughing and joking and hanging out and getting challenged. And I don't do well without being coached. And so I said, like, if I can go to a place where I'm given that opportunity again, I will change my behavior and I'll get better.
So when you quit KU football, I'm guessing December, January, in that range,
Yep.
Did you have a plan after that? You mentioned those 6 months in Colorado, or are you just going to see what happened?
So my goal was to go to Colorado State and just be a student there, but I couldn't get in-state tuition. I had some family who lived in Colorado, and I was trying to use a loophole that way. It didn't work out. So I went into the Colorado State football office. I knew I didn't want to play anymore, but I knew that I liked football, and I would rather coach it than I would play it. And so I asked their offensive coordinator and head coach, I said, hey, can I be a student coach? And they were like, are you a student at Colorado State? I was like, no. And they were like, you can't do it then. And I was like, I mean, what if I just come work for you guys? And they were like, well, you'd be working all these hours for free. So like, well, I'm not going to do that. And so I was just working out there, and the gym that I worked out at, and I worked at, I had a basketball court, and I was like shooting hoops, and like, you know, like, it's the same, no matter if you're 20, which I was, or if you're 10, when you're shooting hoops, like, you're dreaming, you know? And so, like, man, what if I go play college basketball? Like, I could do that. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm making 3-pointers on air. Like, this is cool. And so I was just like, screw it. I'm going to see if I can do it. And then I had played on a good AAU team, and they connected me with Iowa State, and it ended up fitting. And then when Iowa State was like, would you want to come? I'd be like, yeah, sure. And so I like ended my lease and like moved like 2 days later, and then showed up in Ames, and I didn't know anybody. It was awesome. So
that's such a cool story. I didn't know that part. So
yeah.
It was kind of just a connection through AAU, and I'm guessing who your coach knew and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was like an AAU coach, like kind of told Iowa State, like, hey, we have a guy who's looking for a team. And I was just like, I didn't know anything about Iowa State. Like, I don't really watch too many sports. Like, I didn't know they went to the Sweet 16. I didn't know their names. Like, I didn't know anything about it until this guy named Kyle Green called me, and he would call me like every day, and I would just talk his ear off because I'm a good talker. But he would call me at work, which was awesome because the job I worked in the evenings was at Jack's Outdoor Goods, which I have a ton in Colorado. And so I would go sit out, and it was the summertime. It was like May when he was calling me. And I would go sit out, and they had this like beautiful like outdoor like pond with all this like nature stuff. And I would like on the job, I would go sit out there and be like, I have to talk to this guy. It's really important. So somebody would like cover for me. I'd go talk to him for like an hour while I'm getting paid. It was awesome. Yeah, he like just would call me a couple times a week. And then eventually like I've talked to TJ one time, and he was on the bus tour, and he was basically like, tell me about yourself and tell me why you want to come. And I told him, and I tried to like sell myself and put my best foot forward. And he was like, okay, that sounds good. We'll take you. And so then I came. It was pretty cool.
That's so cool. It's crazy just living a few hours away, not knowing much about Iowa State. And then you end up in this place that, I mean, you said it yourself, like it's changed your life, and
100%.
It's crazy how things work like that. When you look back at your time at Iowa State and your role, how much better did you get in everything that you did?
Oh man, I would definitely say that I got better at all things. Iowa State totally helped me with everything. But just as far as being like mentally tough and trying to live a selfless life and wake up and do stuff for other people every day, because that was my job. Like I never went to practice for me. Like I could, I could give a shit less about doing basketball stuff. Like I don't ever need to shoot a layup again. I didn't need to shoot it. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, so it was always about other people. And sometimes that's hard. Like sometimes you would wake up and be like, I just don't feel like screaming today and clapping and looking like an idiot and yelling at people and being this wild guy. But that was my job. And so it was like a game. how can I do it every day? How tough can I be every day? How much can I pour into others? How much is it not about me every day? And so that made me get a lot better. And then also learning, like, not everybody responds to being yelled at by, like, for motivation. Some people like to just be talked to. Some people just like to be listened to. Like, sometimes somebody just wants to tell you something and they don't need your answer. They just want you to be like, I got you, bro. And that could move them forward. So learning that. And then especially all the hard physical stuff we did, because I was always the worst athlete of the group. So, like, I was the slowest on the team. I jumped the least, not like the strongest on the team by, like, these guys are freaks. So, like, getting to, like, train around them and then, like, do these physical, like, competitions and challenges and hard stuff around them was really cool because it made me get better. So Iowa State made me better with everything, man, everything.
So when you leave Iowa State now, you're probably in the best shape of your life. You have all these lessons. You could probably go coach somewhere if you wanted to. And I know you're doing that a little bit.
Yeah.
How much do you take all of those lessons learned into your daily life?
Oh, every day. I mean, every day. Like, just with, so for instance, like, becoming like a trainer in the area, in Kansas City. And, for instance, like, you just think that these kids are just going to show up in your gym and want to train for you. No, you kind of have to go recruit them. You kind of have to go out and get them, like our coaches do. And then when you talk to them, and you talk to the parents, it's not about you at all. It's about the kid. It's about how they can improve. It's about how they can grow. And I mean, that's what I did every day at Iowa State. It was about reaching out to others and wondering how you can make them better. And that's what Iowa State taught me. And as far as, like, daily habits and stuff like that goes, like waking up early, like making sure I'm physically sharp, making sure I'm putting solid stuff in my body, because that allows me to be a better person. That allows me to be better mentally and emotionally for the people who care about me and need me. And Iowa State teaches you that as well. And then just the integrity that was taught in our program and doing the right thing. And I mean, yeah, sure, every program has its flaws. Every culture has a weak moment. But just the integrity of, like, am I being a good man? Like, am I taking care of other people? Am I telling the truth? Am I working the hardest I can do? And am I keeping my focus on the stuff that matters? Because that's all they taught us. Like, it was never about what people were saying outside the building. It was never about your personal agenda. It was always about the team. And you can implement that even if you don't have a team, because your team changes, you know? So, I mean, you're on a team. Everybody's on a team. So I'd take it with me for sure.
This is not relatable at all, but there's probably, like, the slightest bit where it's relatable. And I played D3 tennis, and
okay. You're probably
when I decided I was going to Simpson, okay, I had no intentions ever of being an athlete. It was just, I knew a couple people on the team and they needed warm bodies, essentially. So I went out and I thought, like, at the very worst, it's a good way to make friends.
Yeah.
And I got addicted to getting better and being a good teammate. And eventually, like, by the time I was an upperclassman, I was playing a little bit of varsity. I was no ringer. I've barely played any tennis since.
Yeah.
But it's just hard to explain that addiction that you're talking about. Well, do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you put that into words?
Like, when I first got to Iowa State, the only thing I cared about was fitting in and making friends. Like, I had high school buddies and I had 3 or 4 teammates from KU who were my buds I still talk to this day. But other than that, I didn't have 100 friends, and I didn't fit in, and I wasn't a basketball player. To your point, like, it is pretty cool when you get to be friends with Rob Jones, and everybody knows Rob Jones. You're the guy standing next to Rob Jones, and the same Curtis Jones and Keyshawn, and these guys are legends, you know. But so that's pretty cool for me. Like, I thought that was really awesome. So that was, like, my first goal, and then at the end of it, it's like, how can I be as good at doing my job? And how can me being good at what I do and me being challenged by others, how can that make me good at what I want to do going forward? And it's definitely addiction for sure. And it's pretty cool.
And you mentioned Kurt, Keyshawn, Rob.
Yeah.
How much do those guys appreciate what you do? And
I mean, they appreciate it as much as the next guy. I'm sure they were always nice to me. No one was ever like, I'm sure they said it behind my back, but no one was ever like, this guy's annoying or he's corny or he's silly. No one would tell me that, which was really nice. But they'd always just be like, hey, you helped me out here. Thank you. Love you. Appreciate you. Send you a nice message here and there. After a hard time for them and you're there for them, they tell you that they appreciate you. So I think they appreciate it, but more so I appreciated them because like I wouldn't be able to do, like if they were not nice people, I wouldn't enjoy waking up every day and just giving to people. Like they're the best dudes. And that's back to your very first question about TJ. He finds diamonds in the rough. He finds good people. Like these guys are good dudes. And like those guys in that program, they are not your stereotypical athlete. It's all about them. And they want to do this and they need X, Y, and Z and they have conditions and whatever. They want to show up and do the work and they say thank you. And he gets guys in there who do that, and that's a credit to him because all of my teammates I had were awesome people. Yeah, they were good at basketball, but I'm pretty sure they'll be great husbands and great fathers. And people will be laughing and crying at their funeral, and that's the only thing that matters anyways, so pretty cool.
Well, you mentioned the good people that TJ brings in, and I don't want to use the new walk-on Anthony Rise as a specific example, but 10 years down the road, if the walk-on isn't willing to put in all that you sacrificed and isn't willing to wake up early and just be ready to, I'm going to go encourage everybody all day. What does that do for the program if that guy in that spot isn't willing to do that?
Well, so there's days that I wasn't willing to do it, and there's days that I would complain about it, and there's times in the program where I wasn't being a good teammate and I wasn't being as good of a leader as I can. That's totally human. But I think the thing you got to realize is like you got to be grateful for it. Like I got there so luckily, like off pure chance. Throughout my time there was easily 1,000 kids, 1,000 college kids, 1,000 high school kids, probably 10,000 emails that our director of operations, Micah Byers, would get about walking on. And like, for instance, I had a buddy who I was trying to get to walk on the team. He had 1 year left. He's as 10 out of 10 as you can get, 4.0 student, D3 Conference Player of the Year 4 years in a row, 20 points a game. So he's a good enough player. He's a good dude. He's married. He's having a kid, and he's not going to cause you any issues. He's a 4.0 student, and he just wants to come there and be a good teammate. And he comes from a great family. So that's like as good as a walk-on as you get. And they got to say no to the guy. Like, so yeah, you could be gone any moment. And I would take that for granted for sure. Like thinking that because I'm the CEO, they need me so bad. They don't need your ass. Like somebody will come in there and do what you do better than you because they're more thankful and it means more to them. And you can never think that you're above the uniform and above the jersey. And I've done that. And that's a human thing to do. So like you're saying, like, what if the walk-on doesn't want to do? Oh, BS, there ain't no such thing. That's your job. And if that's not your job, they will find somebody to do that job. And so whoever they bring in, and like Cade's a great example. Like dude's on scholarship now. He's playing in March Madness. Like pretty dang good guy. So they know how to pick him. They do a good job.
You should write that down. Use that for your next motivational speech to a high school soccer team. That's really good perspective. And I think that probably could shoot up not just from the walk-on, but to number one on the roster, to the future pro.
Yeah. If your best player is the best teammate and he's thankful to be there, your team will win off that alone, because that doesn't happen. Normally it is the guy who scratched and clawed and fought and grew up his whole life wanting to go to Iowa State and wanting nothing more to be on the team, like Cade Kellerman, versus the guy who's like, I could be the best player on 15 teams in Power 5. It's hard to have that mindset. So if you can foster a culture that really gets guys to believe into that, like Iowa State does, and some years are better than others. Like 2 years ago, our team was super bought into that, and this year it was a little bit different. And so it makes your team better. So yeah.
Aside from injury, what do you think the biggest difference between that team 2 years ago and this last year was?
I mean, man, the team and our teams are always close. Like 3 teams, they're so different, like so different. Like the vibe, the people, the energy, everything about the team is just massively different. And I think that what hurt, like 2 years ago, we play teams, they'd be like, yeah, they play hard and they got okay players, so we're going to beat them. And we'd sneak up on them. And like every time you lose an away game, besides Allen Fieldhouse, you got court stormed. Like, hey, tonight, fellas, the other team's probably going to make 23s and shoot 40%. And it's going to be their best game of the year. And you got to deal with it. And that's hard to do. And like, I like to use Kansas as an example because they've been the best in the Big 12 for so long. Like, when the other team when you are the hunted, that is such a new experience. And that was all of our first experiences. All the guys on the team, they didn't play at Duke. They didn't play at Arizona. These guys were coming from Buffalo and UNLV. They've always been the underdogs, so they thrive in that. Like our head coach, like built Iowa State up from a bad program to a freaking really good. He didn't experience being at Kansas. And I mean, Iowa State wants to beat you. So, you know what I mean? So that was really hard to deal with. And like expectations, like you'd win a game, like we'd be thankful and happy and like celebrating on the way home, winning road games my first 2 years. But now it's like we play as teams, we expect to beat everybody. And when we win a game, it's but not by enough, and we didn't play good enough. And then we lose a game, we expected to kill that team. So you feel even worse. And every loss feels like 10 losses. And so now you feel like you don't have swag and you can't stack and things don't go your way. So outside of injury, that was by far the hardest thing to deal with on that team.
And obviously not being on the team anymore, do you feel like this next team, now that they have gone through that, or a bulk of the guys have gone through that and the staff has gone through it, do you think it's maybe easier to go through a second time or a third time?
Yeah, they're going to be better for it for sure. And you live and you learn and you grow, and that staff is awesome. Like I have been around coaches my whole life, and coaches are normally the same. Like year 2 or 3 being around a coach, no matter if it's little league or high school or college, that's just same old Coach Johnson. You know, he's the same. Our coaches evolve. They care about getting better and growing. Like Coach Green when I first met him, and Coach Blunt when I first met him, and Coach Croft and TJ and Schmitty. They've all vastly changed. And so they're going to be better for it. And they do really good, like with staff retention. So they now have 4 years of experience together. That really, really helps. And I think they'll be better for it. So will the players. And these guys are older now. But it's also so many fresh new guys, you know, and it's like they are excited to be at Iowa State. They're excited to wake up early. They're excited to have the hardest summer in college basketball. Like, you know, so that bringing that new life into the program is also really going to help. And then when you blend it with guys who have won a Big 12 championship, have been to 3 straight NCAA tournaments, it's pretty. They should have no problems having a fun year. So
you mentioned those road trips.
Yeah,
those first couple of years. Do you have a favorite bus ride or plane ride back where you guys were celebrating a favorite win?
I got a couple. My first year, Gabe Kalster hit a buzzer beater against TCU.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody talks more trash than TCU. Their fans suck. So
really? Yeah. That's shocking.
No, they're not cool at all. They stink. So does K-State. K-State's the worst.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
There's just nothing good about that town. K-State sucks. But anyways, that was pretty cool. And then from this past year, winning at Iowa, also awesome. Iowa's fans are the worst. It's just joking, but that was really cool. And then really trying to think, Texas Tech overtime. That was, I would say, they're always winning on the road in college basketball is so hard, and so many things have to go your way. So the overtime win was pretty cool.
I think was it the Iowa game? I think the Cyclone Twitter account put a video out of TJ. You guys were in a huddle and saying like there's nothing like winning on the road.
Oh yeah.
I like aspire to just experience what that would feel like.
Cool.
Because there's something as a fan too, where it's obviously great to witness a win in Hilton, but you kind of expect it when there's those road games that you don't expect and everyone's against you. I'm sure there's no feeling like it.
Oh, and it's like I experience this now. No part of my day-to-day life do I feel like the world's out to get me and nothing can go my way. And I got me and 15 of my best buddies just putting our boots in the ground and getting in a fight. And I know it's metaphorical, but like that doesn't happen in your day-to-day life as a person. And you get to go walk into the enemy's backyard and you get to send all those people who are saying crazy stuff to you. They have to go home and hate their car ride home. It makes you feel really good. And these guys lose on senior night. That makes you feel good. I've lost on senior night twice. And, so it's like, hell yeah, it feels good. And it's like, it's just something about going into somebody else's place and just kind of stealing something from them. It's primal. It makes you feel good. So this is pretty cool.
Well, it's been great, Conrad. If there's any of our listeners in Kansas City or just anywhere that might want to book your services for personal training or public speaking, what's the easiest way to get in contact with you?
You can just look me up on Twitter, and that's got my email on there. You can email me. You can DM me from there. I'll just text you. But yeah, I do private basketball training and stuff like that in the Kansas City area. And then like I'm coming up to Des Moines twice over the next few months to give speeches in Des Moines. So if a speech is if you'd like to get me to give you a speech, I'll come up to Iowa and I'll definitely be around Iowa State and stuff like that and come to a game here and there. So I'll be around. It'll be cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this, Conrad. It was great talking to you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.